What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome to the Gaming Brigade. And earlier today, we know that the Division 2 announced that the Season 11 PTS is going to begin this Friday, January 13th. Now, I put out a video in regard to that information earlier this morning. And if you happen to have missed that video, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. Now, Ubisoft also made a statement today that they are not only canceling 3 unannounced games, they're also pushing Skull and Bones back once again. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what impact, if any, that is going to have on the Division universe, which encompasses the Division 2, the Division Heartland, and the Division Resurgence as well. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button, and if you enjoyed this, do me a favor really quick and hit that like button as well. It really does help the channel out. So the statement I'm referring to, as you can see here, and this is taken from an article from Video Games News. I will leave a link to this article in the description down below as well, but Ubisoft has canceled 3 unannounced games and delayed Skull and Bones again. Company says it's facing major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands. Now, I'm going to read you most of the article. If you want to read the whole thing, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. Now, it starts off by saying, announcing the news on Wednesday, the company said it's facing major challenges as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and long-lasting titles that can reach players across the globe, across platforms, and business models. Ubisoft said it has spent the last 4 years attempting to adapt its biggest brands, which include Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, and The Division, to these converging trends. However, the games from this investment phase have yet to be released, while our recent launches have not performed as well as expected. They continue by saying the company said the software sales over the key holiday season have been markedly and surprisingly slower than expected, with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 2023 among the games to have failed to meet expectations. Skull and Bones, which following a series of previous delays was most recently scheduled to be released this March, will now arrive early in Ubisoft's next fiscal year, 2023 through 24, which runs from April of this year until March of 2024. Now, the company claims the additional time has already paid off and brought impressive improvements to its quality, which has been confirmed by recent playtests, and it expects players will be positively surprised by its evolution. And in addition to Skull and Bones, during its 2023-24 fiscal year, Ubisoft said it's planning to release Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and other yet-to-be-announced premium games, including a large one, as well as promising free-to-play titles for some of our biggest brands. Upcoming free-to-play titles from the publisher include the PC and console game The Division Heartland, and mobile titles The Division Resurgence and Assassin's Creed Codename Jade. Now, at this point, we're going to step away from the article and talk about the Division universe in its entirety, starting with the Division 2. Now, one thing I mentioned in this morning's video is that I was pleasantly surprised about this morning's announcement about the PTS starting this Friday for Season 11. And the reason for that, and then most of you know if you've been at this game since the beginning, or let's say really over the last year and a half, 2 years, is that a lot of the things we are expecting were delayed. And it's important to understand why, but at the same time, as consumers, it is great to see that the game has been saying for a while that we were going to be getting the PTS the very beginning of January. It's actually happening. And for me, that is a sign that everything is pointing in the right direction for this game. You know, we're going to be rolling into year 5. They're talking about the new game mode we can expect, new seasons, a bunch of other things on the horizon. And one of the things I've said in multiple past videos is that I really believe that 2023 is going to be the year for the Division universe that we thought 2022 was going to be. We are starting in the right direction, as I said a moment ago, and I think there's a ton of stuff to look forward to, my friends. Next, we're going to talk about the Division Heartland, and there happen to be a handful of games that are slated to launch this year that I am really looking forward to, and this is one of them. Now, like many of you out there, I've been thinking to myself, what is going on with this game? When is it going to launch? It was supposed to be last year, now it's going to be this year. Now, with the news Ubisoft just announced, and keep in mind, this is pure speculation, I don't have any insider details whatsoever, but based on the announcement, that Ubisoft made today and where this game seems to be in its development, I definitely believe we are much closer than many people think to the game actually launching. And from all the different feedback I've seen online, as well as getting direct messages from people who've actually been able to test this thing out during the playtest, it really seems like a game that's going to check off a lot of boxes for a lot of people. Now, I know free-to-play games have a certain stigma, and obviously that's due to the fact that we know there are going to be transactions, microtransactions in the game, how they monetize this thing. Now, at this point, we have no idea what to expect. All we care about, in my opinion, is that it does not have a pay-to-win aspect, meaning if you want to spend $20 to buy a hat or a weapon skin, that's great, that's your decision. But if your spending money is going to give you an unfair advantage, I mean things like we've seen in Diablo Immortal, that is something I cannot get behind. But again, we do not have any information on how the monetization is going to work. As soon as we do, I will obviously pass that along. Now that gives us a direct segue into the Division Resurgence, which you're looking at here, which is the mobile aspect of the Division universe, hopefully launching at one point this year. Now, once again, and this is something I've said in previous videos, I've never really been a mobile game player. Now, I was lucky enough to get my hands on this when the playtesting was going on recently. And I gotta tell you, my friends, again, I don't know about the monetization, and we'll get into a few other things in a moment, but playing the game was absolutely amazing. It is by far one of the best mobile games I've ever played. And I know I just said I don't play that many mobile games, so it's like, well, who cares, Graybeard? You've played like 4 of them. Well, no, my point is this. When it comes to story, when it comes to the actual gameplay itself, and again, I'm basing this on a player who plays on console, who loves third-person looter shooters, things like that, this does check off a lot of boxes as well, and I think a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised. Now, as I start to wrap this video up, there happen to be a few more important things I want to mention. So I do feel the cancellation of these other games are going to help continue to keep everything we want to see in the Division universe moving forward, and that, in my opinion, is obviously a great thing. Now, one thing I've always promised at this channel is to always give you a fair and balanced assessment of a game regardless of my own personal gameplay, because my gameplay does not matter. What matters is what's happening in the community, what's happening with you, my YouTube family. And I've said this before, and most of you already know this, but I am a part of the Ubisoft creator program, but they don't pay me a thing. I can say whatever I want. I will never bullshit you here no matter what. If I think something is a red flag, I will say it. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this thing up. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Incoming alert on the SHD emergency channel. Flash priority.